37% of Republican voters say they're leaning towards voting for State Senator Doug Mastriano. I'm on Market Street here in Harrisburg, and it looks like a swimming pool. They are still sweeping every single floor. Let's take a deeper dive into this debacle from right here in the pool. Prosecutors announcing the arrest of 76-year-old Judith Jarvis for the murder of her husband. We took this sweatshirt, we stuck it in water for just a couple minutes, and look, you can see, look at this thing. It is as stiff as a board. We're standing inside one of the trailers for Mennonite Disaster Service that would be mobilized to Florida. Police entered a bedroom and found a woman dead. They tell us numerous players have been expelled, others suspended, and the head coach fired. Some of the people we spoke with are now looking for an alternative ending. It was a chilling experience for Barbara Hummer.
Before he leaves, I think he's going to shoot me.
Barbara says around 10 a.m. Tuesday, she was in her driveway on Hudson Road when she spotted a car partially submerged inside the canal.
The guy stepped out of the camper with a towel wrapped around him, with a gun on me, and kind of like, don't talk, don't say nothing.
She identifies the man as Robert Vacasa. He had his two daughters with him, 7-year-old Gianna and 6-year-old Amina.
He said he had his two daughters in the camper. He called them out. And then I said, well, if you just want clean, dry clothes, they're up at the house.
Barbara even offered Vacasa both cash and her car to leave.
He said, ma'am, I don't want your money and I don't want your car. He said, I just want dry clothes and to keep my girls warm.
Held hostage for hours, she describes his demeanor as composed.
He never raised his voice to me. He never yelled.
She spent hours talking with the former Baltimore cop.
He said, I want to get him away from my wife's family.
While also striking up a conversation with his daughters.
And I asked the girls, I said, is your daddy going to hurt me? And they said, no, my daddy's nice.
Once Vacasa retreated to make a phone call, Barbara escaped into the house, locking herself inside.
And I took my shotgun and went upstairs. And he pounded and wanted in, and come on, let me in, Bart. And I said, nope, just take the car and go. Just take the car and go.
And while being held at gunpoint was terrifying,
going through my mind is, he's not going to let me live.
For Barbara, it pales in comparison to the trauma Vacasa's daughters are suffering.
Drop them off any place, you know. So, they're sweet girls. Very sweet.
This would be a rebirth for the old school. The building has become an eyesore. It's already been set on fire multiple times. If you take a look, you can see the windows have been broken and shattered. The doors are locked and boarded up. There is graffiti and garbage all over, and the columns here in the front of the building are literally crumbling into pieces. Organizers say they want to turn this back into an educational center the community can rally behind.
Anything that sits for 10 years, you know, with nobody going in, you know, it's just going to look like this.
For Michael Simpson, it's disgusting seeing what happened to William Penn High School.
When I look at this place, honestly, it breaks my heart.
The building has sat vacant, deteriorating for a decade.
It looks like the last day of school, everybody just said, pack up whatever you have personal and just go, and nobody's coming back in this building ever again.
The classrooms once filled with students are now piled high with burnt rubble and garbage.
There is a tree growing on the inside. You know, there have been fires set here. There's a lot that is going on the inside that we don't know about.
Even the columns that frame the entrance are literally crumbling apart.
Look, that little net is catching some bricks that can fall with a wind.
But Simpson has big dreams of transforming this eyesore into something the community can be proud of.
Bringing back the culinary salons and different trades that these kids can get exposure to at an early age, and that is so pivotal, you know, for them pursuing careers as adults.
Capital Rebirth envisions a vocational school and recreation center.
We're going to retain jobs here. We're going to retain residents.
The catch is, because of Act 47, an out-of-town entity will decide who gets the building and property.
The community's biggest fear is for a developer, you know, out of the state to come in here and just to look for a profit.
And for Simpson, this is a golden opportunity to provide an education that can't be found in any textbook.
It'd be, you know, a great story for the school district to turn it over, you know, to alumni who graduated from the school and kind of bring back that whole core of education.
The rules of the road are geared to protect first responders, but not every driver plays by them.
You'll be astonished at how many people don't slow down and don't move over, and they have the ability to do both.
The move over law requires drivers to move into the left lane when approaching an emergency vehicle with lights flashing. Earlier today, a roadside technician was struck and killed on Interstate 81. He's the 5th emergency responder killed in the past 9 months. To get a closer look at how many people failed to move over, we went with Jerry on 581. And here's what we found out. The first few cars, look, nobody budging.
I've been out on calls with troopers where mirrors touch them, touch us.
A few minutes later, more cars whizzing by, no signs of slowing down.
It's depressing watching selfish drivers that won't slow down, move over, who are hitting first responders.
But there were drivers who did pump the brakes or safely change lanes. In our unscientific research, about 70% of cars never budged.
You don't have to move over. Slow down 20 miles an hour below the speed limit, move over if you can.
According to Leahy, 21 emergency responders nationwide lost their lives while assisting others.
You got firemen, you got ambulance, you got EMTs, and we're getting picked off left and right.
And he's calling on police to step on the gas.
The enforcement needs to be a little stronger. I think that the police should set up some stings.
To hopefully put this problem in the rear view.
First offense, 1,000, second offense, 1,500, third offense, and you lose your license.
Wendy Terry has a tough time choking back the tears.
I've had some pretty scary situations, and I'm lucky to be sitting in this chair today talking to you.
Terry is a breast cancer survivor, and the pandemic has been a medical nightmare.
Just with my health history, when I get something, I usually get it to the maximum degree.
And like many others, she finds the process of trying to get an appointment a battle of its own.
I'm hitting a lot of roadblocks when I'm trying to get an appointment somewhere.
Unanswered calls, redirects, and countless hours hitting refresh have defined Terry's vaccine journey.
There's no appointments available.
And now, after this costly mistake, Terry fears she has nowhere to turn.
My heart sunk, actually, because I figure that prolongs it for those of us that are still patiently waiting to get the vaccine.
Terry lives with her mother, Yvonne. She was diagnosed with COVID in January and was terrified of putting her daughter's life at risk.
I worried because I'd never forgive myself if she got it.
And after watching Terry battle cancer for 5 years, Hobbs never imagined getting vaccinated would be the toughest challenge her daughter would face. Would it mean the world to you if she can get her shot as well?
Oh, certainly. That would really make me feel 100% better.
And Terry's not asking to skip to the front of the line, but she says after this debacle with the vaccine, she's losing hope.
Well, if I thought I was getting one anytime soon, this probably just, prolonged the process for me a little more.